Okay, so I was asked the question the other day of if I know that seizures, that epilepsy can be hereditary, that, or if someone knows that seizures, epilepsy can be hereditary, why would that person then have kids? Um, because I know how much I love my girls, and I would not want that for them. So, knowing that, why would you intentionally choose to have kids? So, it's a fair question. My response to that is that there's a chance, yes, that it could be hereditary. However, there's also a very good chance that it is not. Um, no one in my family history has any um, epilepsy, seizures, anything like that. I did not get it from it. It was not passed down to me. Um, there's a potential that I could pass it down still, but there's also all the chance in the world that I could not. I can't, at this point, imagine my life without my girls. Um, Living my life with my girls and doing all the things that we do together, I can't imagine living my life without them. And if everyone in the world who has any sort of issue that is potentially passed down in a hereditary way chose to not have kids because of the possibility of it being hereditary, the world would essentially, I'm not saying it would, but the world would run out of people very quickly, because there's a very high percentage of people that carry something that could be potentially hereditary. So that's my answer to that question. Is that I could choose to live in fear. I could choose to not do the things that I do. However, I choose instead to go beyond that. I choose instead to say, yes, that could happen. My girls could end up having seizures, end up having epilepsy. They could also end up having a host of other issues, because that's the world we live in, where they could end up with literally anything, and it there's not necessarily a rhyme or reason to that, because that's just the world we live in. So that is my reasoning for that. Is that I it would break my heart if one of my girls ended up with having epilepsy, having seizures, but it's not going to stop me. It didn't stop me from having kids. Did I think about it? Yes. Do I still think about it? Yes. However, it's not going to, it did not stop me, and I don't think, and I say this in a very guarded way, I don't think that it should stop anyone who wants to have kids. It's a personal decision. Everyone has to make that decision on their own with what they feel comfortable with. But I don't think that the potential of passing that down should stop you from having kids. because it is a potential. I have an aunt who has cerebral palsy. She was supposed to live only a few years. She's now in her 80s, and has outlived two of her of the 5 kids in her family. She has 2 siblings left alive, and then herself, and 2 of her siblings have died, one of which was my mom. So she has lived a very, very long life when she was expected to only make it a few years. So for us to think that we get to play God and get to decide that's kind of an outrageous thought. So that's my take on that situation, is that that's where I stand on it. So